Next up, let's add some pagination. So right now we're showing all of the activities, and that can become a very, very long list, which means a very, very long page load. So pagination will help with this. And let's start off by going into our activities fixture here. I might just crank this baby up to like, instead of 60, maybe just 180, just so we can really test the pagination. And while I'm in here, since we went ahead and actually added hours, minutes, and seconds, I think I might do that in here. So I'll do this all at once. So I'll probably get rid of duration, but let's do hours, and we can do a random number, I guess between 0 and 2, and then we'll do, for minutes, let's do a random number between 1 and 59, and same with seconds. And it's important that, at least with minutes and seconds, that we respect our validation. So we're actually validating that a number has to be between 1 and 59. So if I did, like, you know, negative numbers in here, or I had 0, or I went from, if I included 60, there's times where these fixtures would actually not be valid and wouldn't save, and it would mess up our tests and whatnot. And I actually wonder if we can get rid of calculated pace, because that, I know it's getting calculated for us on save. And one thing I actually don't know is, I don't know if fixtures respect callbacks. So for example, we have hours, seconds, or hours, minutes, and seconds for both of these. But we're not explicitly setting the duration or the pace, but we have everything we need in here to handle that. I just don't know if it's actually gonna go ahead and do that, but only one way to find out. So let's just close this out and do Rails db fixtures load. I guess it's okay if it doesn't do it for now, because our tests account for the fact that it actually does work. But it'd be nice if it just did it for us, so that when we're looking at the page, like, the pace reflected the duration and the distance, but that's okay. So clear that out, form and start. And for this, we're going to use a gem called pagy, and I'm going to copy this so that way I can, actually I want to close Foreman because I have to install this gem, and we have to usually start and restart our server. So I'll do bundle add pagy, and that should go ahead and start the installation process. So I've never actually used this gem before, I just have heard a lot about it. It's very quick apparently, so that's always good. There's a lot of gems that do pagination though. So I can see down here there's a quick start. Let's just give this a shot. Alright, so we did this. Then we want to do, actually, one thing I always like to just see is, do these things have generators? So if I do Rails G, this is just like a little hack I do. Like, is there a pagy in here? There's not. So for example, like, what do we got? So like devise has generators, and that's a gem that we have here. Bullet has a generator. And strong migrations has a generator. So some gems just come with generators that do things for us. This one does not, but that's okay. So we want to make this initializer file here. Let's close all this out. So config initializers, new file, pagy, and then if you're using Rails, put this in there. So we did that. If you don't use Rails, include this. So I guess our application controller. Application controller. Let's put it beneath pundit. Or actually, we'll put it above pundit so that these two things are together. So include the backend and some controller. Use pagy on some action. So in our case, that would be the activities controller, and looks like we just do pagy, and then we wrap it around this, I guess. Render the pagination. So if your app renders the view server side, which it does. So application, you want to include this. So application helper, we include this. Application helper. Go ahead and do that. Then render the navigation links in some view with a fast helper. So they have a bootstrap run. Wonder if we actually could use that because we're using bootstrap. Okay, so this is good. So in the pagy initializer, so pagy.rb, let's require that, and then render the navigation links in some view with a fast helper. So I think we just want this, and then I'm going to go ahead and do that on the index view for the activities. And actually, one thing we should do is we should do if activities is, or unless activities is empty, then we want to render all this out. And that's because if you don't have any activities yet, like the table head is going to render nothing, but nothing will be there. And we can even like make this UI a little better. And just do a link to. So add your first activity, new activity path. So that way, if they don't have any activities, they'll at least have a call to action to do that. So let's see here, how we doing? We added that. So I think that's it, right? Let's just do Rails or form and start, get the server up and running. And I'm going to log in with this user here once the server starts, because we know that this user has a lot of activities. And now we should be seeing some type of pagination on the page. So let's log in here. So all that right. And so that's too bad. So the duration and the pace wasn't calculated for us, but that's okay. But is there pagination? There is, so this is cool. And let's just see if we can center this. So we got here. So pagination. I wonder if we have access to that anywhere. Well, you know what? That's okay, because what we can just do is in here, we can just wrap it around a div, I guess, and just have the content within that div centered. We can just do class. I'm actually trying to see. So what is this? So this is display block. Then we can just do display flex, then justify content center. And if you go ahead and refresh the page, that's centered. That's good. So let's go to let's just write a quick test for this. So activities test. Let's just do should paginate activities, and then confirmed user with activities. So this is good. So we want to still use this user here. So sign in user, visit activities path, and then let's just see, we want to click link I think it's a link, right? I think it's a button. So click link, next. Or maybe, I wonder if I can even just do next. That might yell at me. I might have to do this symbol here. And then we'll just do click link next, and then click link previous. And by doing that, it'll just kind of confirm that these links exist on the page. Just kind of quickly going through that. Let's clear this out. Rails T test system activities, and this is on 59. So interestingly enough, this failed. Let's see what the screenshot says. So it is loading. I just wonder if let's see if I can do this. Run the test again. That can be kind of the tricky thing with system tests is, like, you know, little clicking the right thing. It's like we know there's a button called, or there's a link on the page called next, but it has the little caret next to it, and I don't actually know if that matters or not, because it's within the DOM, but it's also being, this is like the HTML, you know, entity. Well, actually, no, that's just a space. So I guess it's not being encoded. Okay, so that actually made it pass. So let's just run to get status here. And I think all this had to do with pagy. So, well, actually, the fixtures was different. So let's see here. So let's do git add test fixtures, because that's a different commit. So git commit, I'll just do update fixtures. Then we can add the rest here. So git add and then git commit. We'll just say add pagy. And let's just clear this out, run a quick git status and a quick git push. And that's a good spot to leave off.